Good evening, beautiful listeners. I hope that you are having a really beautiful evening, and I really hope that the timing of this podcast is in divine flow and lands in exactly the right place at the right time for the right people that stumble across this. I want to firstly do a shout out to my beautiful sister Effie Jackson. She is a podcast genius, and essentially what I really mean is she's got some high level podcasts with some beautiful heart centered wisdom, and she's a vessel of truth. She's a conduit for deep wisdom and truth, and it flows through her with so much grace and so much ease, and it's just an honor to listen to her speaking. You can hear the the presence and the love and the intention that is supporting her sharing. So yeah, check it out if you haven't come across her. Heaven on earth. So yeah, this is my first podcast, and I'm jumping on here with an open heart to free flow share what comes through in this moment, and my hope is that it's of some value and that it offers some wisdom and it offers some reassurance and it offers perhaps the frequency of love that perhaps you're needing at the moment. So what I've been doing recently is being really, really intentional in my spiritual practice. And the spiritual practice it's actually quite simple. There's no breath work, there's no crazy technique. It's simply the refinement and the practice of speaking what's true, articulating what's true without a filter, and being really intuitive with what wants to come through and what needs to be communicated. And for me, that is one of the best ways to describe that is right relationship. And the right relationship for me is one that is rooted in truth. There's a congruence, there's a fluidity, and there is really firm, solid values that frame those relationships. So I'm talking about being honest. I'm talking about being authentic. I'm talking about the articulation of how I'm feeling. I'm talking about the weaving of what's happening on the inside and then what's expressed, and setting the intention of them matching up really clearly and really gently. So this has been my practice. My practice has been using my relationships in my life with those around me as an opportunity to practice and cultivate these qualities of integrity and honesty and congruency and authenticity and transparency, and using my relationships as the battleground to sharpen these skills and refine them with more and more precision, and deliver them and articulate them with more and more confidence. And what I'm finding is that because I have set this intention and I have anchored this prayer, that life, the universe, the cosmos, Great Spirit is gifting me the circumstances for me to achieve that. It is really, it's crystal clear that life is going, here is a circumstance for you to stand into your power. Here is a circumstance for you to assert what's true. Here is a circumstance for you to be honest. Here is a circumstance for you to be really clear where the boundary lies and what feels true for you in this moment. And I'm just finding that life is gifting me so many experiences that I'm just capitalizing on. I'm taking them with two hands and being like, yes, thank you, dear Spirit, for this opportunity for me to rise, for me to level up to the next level of growth. You know, Matt Kahn, one of the great spiritual teachers and best-selling author and empath from the States, he says, the fast track to enlightenment is the high road. Taking the high road at every single turn. And what is the high road? The high road is the road of integrity, honesty, transparency, morality. It is showing up and walking that high road at every opportunity. and that is what I've been seeking to do. And absolutely, I have moments and I have days where that's really challenging. And it feels like a really big edge that I have to really cultivate courage to do that. The word courage comes from, I think it's the French coeur, and coeur means the heart. So it's the rage, the power of the heart. So courage is, for me, is the capacity to honor the heart and speak from that place. So there's been days where I've felt really challenged by that and sometimes overwhelmed by the circumstances. It's like, hey, slow down. Can you just slow things down a little bit and just maybe space these situations out a little bit more? Like, give me a break. But then I come back into this trust of it knows what it's doing. It knows what I can handle, and the way knows. The way knows the way. So this is such a beautiful, it's such a beautiful, deeply nourishing experience that I'm having, where I feel like the universe, this Great Spirit, is literally saying, thank you. Thank you for aligning your values with the laws of the universe. Thank you for showing up and doing this for yourself and for others and for those that encounter you. And for this, we shall continue to gift you the circumstances that are catalysts for this expansion and for this growth to come to fruition. So I am noticing there's a lot of synchronicities, there's a lot of divine orchestration, there's a lot of things happening frequently that confirm to me that I'm on the right path. And my capacities for exercising my clairvoyance has increased significantly, and my intuitive capacities have increased significantly. So I'm feeling really, really blessed and in deep reverence and gratitude for myself, for showing up in the ways that I am, and knowing that the more I show up for myself, the more I can show up for people that I love and support. The more I can show up for my 3 kids, the more I can show up for my community and be that pillar of truth. My experience is that when I am not in a place of truth, I'm essentially betraying my spirit. It's like something wants to come through, something wants to be expressed, and then there's fear, there's anxiety, and that sabotages that authentic expression, and then there is a loss of power and a loss of energy, and it leaks, and it's like the spirit has been betrayed, and there's a disempowerment that occurs immediately in that process, a loss of energy, life force, and it's tough. It's really tough. And the power of having that experience shows me how precious and delicate it is to stay in alignment and congruent with myself. And this is, you could say perhaps, oh, it's a simple thing. Just be true to yourself. Just be authentic. But the way that society is structured, the way that societal norms are in place, and the way that there has been this societal conditioning to not upset others and to not get angry and to not be a drama queen and to not create conflict, this has created a culture that is predominantly inauthentic and who don't have the backbone and the courage to actually share what's true in the moment because of so many fears and because of so many wounds. So one of the great fathers of research of stress, Hans Sale, I think that's how you say his name, he did a study of what was the most stressful thing to the human organism, and he said the most stressful thing that we can encounter is trying to be someone that you're not, trying to be other than what you are, and that this was incredibly stressful for the nervous system, for our immune system, for our physical body, our emotional body, and that this would change our biology, change our chemistry. And so this simple yet challenging act of really embodying that authenticity is so medicinal. It is freedom. For me, that is part of the path to freedom, is really being like, this is me, this is what I've got to say, and I'm going to say it without hesitation. And of course, I try and bring logic and rationale and wisdom and discernment into that process. So, sharing at the right time, sharing to the right people, sharing in the right way, sharing with the right tone, and sharing with love and with an open heart. And this is where the magic lies. I feel deeply blessed to have encountered some really beautiful souls in the last 6 months. And one of particular potency and power is my beautiful friend Mira. For those that don't know her, she is a mama, a yogini, a beautiful cacao ceremonialist, a intuitive mystic, natural healer. She's one of a kind, and we have really got to know each other very deeply. And our container for our relationship has been one of how can we serve the beloved? How can we serve the divine in each other? And how can we bring forth each other's light stronger than ever before without hesitation? And that is an intense and confronting process. And at the same time, it is incredibly rewarding and deeply satisfying and deeply intimate. Into me you see intimacy. Having this friendship, this platonic friendship, has been a significant catalyst in my growth, in my awareness, in bringing my blind spots to the forefront, in bringing what's unconscious into the conscious, in integrating things that need to be integrated, in the expression of my emotions. And we have supported each other so deeply, and we have been unwavering in our commitment for walking each other home, and essentially supporting each other's awakening process. Waking up from what? Waking up from the fear, from the illusion, from the trauma, from the conditioning, from the history, and waking up into a lens of clear view, seeing things as they are, seeing things through the eyes of truth, and being able to discern what's mine, what's hers, where does my responsibility lie, where does her responsibility lie, where can we be accountable, and speaking to that. And the beauty is that every time we have had a, let's call it a clash or a rupture, a rocky moment, that has been the vehicle and the gateway to loving each other more, not less, to loving ourselves more, not less, and to truly getting to know each other far more deeply and far more intimately, having worked through that rupture with a curiosity and with a loving awareness, and with a deep trust and a deep safety of, I've got your back and you got mine. And the thing that feels special about this friendship is that it is not a traditional friendship. It's a friendship that to the average person would be confusing and would not fit into the societal norm of certain boundaries that you may hold and create around a friendship and what that means and how intimate you can be and how deep you go. So it has been such an honor to bear witness and to be a part of supporting each other with our personal growth and holding each other to such a strong degree of accountability. And I feel blessed. I feel blessed to have encountered Mira and many others who have come into my life at the right time to help me with my leveling up, to help me with my clear view. And for that I have so much love. So I invite you to really dig deep and sit tall, spine straight, check your posture, shoulders back, sit strong, and ask yourself, what am I calling in? What am I dreaming in? If I could have life exactly as I want it, what would it look like? What would it feel like? What would I be doing? Who would I be spending time with? What would my values be? How would I be spending this precious gift of a life that I don't know when is going to end? And it's definitely going to end. I'm going to die at some point. Time of death uncertain. Therefore, the wisest thing I can do is make the most of my time. And so how do I want to do that? And so dream big and really set the standard high. And trust as those people fall into your life to help you achieve that and to get you there. And knowing as well that if there's any resistance to that, and if there's old stories come up, and if there is a voice of unworthiness, that part of you simply deserves more love and not less. And how can you give that part of you more love, more nourishment, and more support than it's ever had before? And as Matt Kahn says, if there's part of you that doesn't want to give yourself that love that part of you and accept that part for where it's at and know that it's doing its best and give it some love and care. Take your time. So it's been an absolute pleasure to drop into this podcast and share a little bit around what I've been doing and what's been moving through me recently. And with that, there's also a lot of gratitude that I have the capacity to invest my time into these deeply profound practices that support my change and support my life. Not everyone has that awareness, not everyone has the time, the life circumstance, the means to do this, to actually put time into connecting with truth. So I feel so much gratitude to the life that I've lived and the circumstances that have supported me to do that. So I feel really supported. I feel supported, and I hope that anyone listening to this also feels supported. And if you don't, set the intention and the prayer of finding a group of people and a close connection, a tribe of people that will support you and that will be strong and unwavering in their support of you being the best version of yourself. The great psychiatrist, psychologist, Carl Jung, he says the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And it is a privilege. It really is. So with that, I warmly invite you to put your hand on your heart space and take a couple of deep breaths in and just feel that beautiful, inextricable connection to your heart and the wisdom of your heart, the intelligence behind its ability to keep you alive with the breath that is autonomic, it's automatic. What a miracle. And I invite you to take some deep breaths into your heart. And if it feels comfortable, repeating the mantra, I love you. I love you. I love you. 3 times. And noticing how that feels. And noticing how that is for you to create that relationship with yourself. Knowing that this is the most important relationship, I believe, that there is in life. How can we show up for ourselves to the next level? And if there's part of you that says, I don't want to say I love you to my heart, then offer that part of you a little bit of love. And if there's part of you that says it's inauthentic to say I love you because I don't feel it, that is because it is a new vibration, it is a new relationship, it is a new frequency that is not part of your current experience. So it feels foreign, and it will until you believe it and feel it and it hits your heart so deeply that you will never look back from treating yourself any less than the love that you are. So my encouragement would be to continue that practice, rolling with the resistance that comes with it, knowing that it will drop into that subconscious and start to become the new way. This is what science has shown, neuroplasticity, that we can recreate our neural pathways to support us. We don't have to stick to the same lines and trains of habitual thinking and rumination and negative self-limiting beliefs. We have power to transform that. And there are many ways to do that. So, with that, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me share this story and this very deeply vulnerable part of my life at the moment. And I love you.
Re no re ta no de re no